여러분 안녕하세요. 지니 선생님입니다. Today we're going to talk about the Korean verbs. In Korean, a verb always comes last in a sentence. And even if you know many Korean verbs, although limited, you can communicate quite a bit in Korean. Why? I will explain now. First of all, we are going to talk about conjugate and the original verb form. Here's a question in English. You probably saw this one in elementary school. Fill in the blank by conjugating the given verb. Number 1. I blank to the library with friends yesterday. Number 2. She always blank up early in the morning and she is not late to school. What is the correct form of the given verb go? It should be went because the sentence indicates the past tense, right? Then what about number 2? Because the subject is the third person and a singular, and the sentence indicates the subject's daily habit, the word wake should be wakes, right? Look at the direction. It reads, fill in the blank by conjugating the given verb. Pay attention to the word conjugate. It means change the form of a verb. This will be applied to Korean verbs. There are many verb endings in Korean. You don't have to know all of them, but if you know a few along with the rules, the rest becomes automatic. The first ending I'm going to introduce is called the 아유, 어유, 해요 form. Notice that I used a slash to separate the three words. That means you are going to pick one of the three depending on the vowel used in the last letter of the verb stem. I'll say this once more. You are going to pick one of the three depending on the vowel used in the last letter of the verb. This 아유, 어유, 해요 is used for the present tense, and you use this form for anyone older than you. I will present 3 Korean verbs now. 살다, 먹다, 공부하다. All of them are in the original verb form. 살다 means to live, 먹다 means to eat, and 공부하다 means to study. When you conjugate the Korean verbs, drop 다 in the end, except for 하다 verbs. 하다 verbs refer to the verb that end with 하다. We have 공부하다 already. Other examples are 전화하다, 일하다, 비난하다, 동행하다, 구입하다, 추가하다, and so on. If you analyze the above 3 verbs, the first one becomes 살, and the second one becomes 먹. For the verb stem 살, notice that the Korean vowel a is used. For the verb stem 먹, notice that the Korean vowel 어 is used. Then 공부하다 is a 하다 verb. Compare that with a 아유, 어유, 해요 form. If you look at the first one, it is 아요, a is used. The second one is 어요, 어 is used. Do you remember the yin-yang theory? A and O represent yang, and O and U represent yin. Therefore, the same yang elements and yin elements should be added together. Therefore, with 살, 아요 should be added to the verb stem. It becomes 살아요. For 먹, because 어 is used, 어요 should be added to the verb stem, and it becomes 먹어요. Once again, a or o with 아요, 어 and 우 with 어요. Then what about 해요? You replace 하다 in a 하다 verb with 해요. For 공부하다, you need to replace 하다 with 해요, and the verb becomes 해요. 공부해요. Same thing with 전화하다. 전화해요. 일하다. 일해요. Before we practice some more, let's summarize to conjugate the Korean verbs once again. You're going to use 아요, 어요, 해요, and is used to indicate the present tense. If we have the verb 일어나다, means to wake up or to stand up, after dropping the 다, notice that is used in the last letter. Because it is 아요 should be used. Then it is 일어나 plus 아요. Notice that we have the same sound twice. Then you use only one. Then becomes 일어나 plus 아요. 일어나요. Same thing for 가다, meaning to go. After dropping the 다, is used as a vowel. Therefore, 아요 should be added to 가. 가 plus 아요, 가요. Let's consider the verb 쉬다, meaning to rest. Because it is not a 하다 verb, drop the 다 and add 어요 because its vowel is we, not a or o. So if you want to say, I am resting, you can add 나는 in front of the verb 쉬어요. 나는 쉬어요. That means, I am resting or I rest. Just like that, if anyone asks you what you're doing, you can say, 나는 공부해요, meaning, I am studying. Another ending that we're going to look at is 비읍니다, 씁니다 form. This is still a formal honorific ending. It is rather rigid instead of being friendly, and it's used mostly in a formal setting. The common place you would hear this a lot is on the news. In writing, you would see this in newspapers. Compare the difference between 아요, 어요, 해요 form and 비읍니다, 씁니다 form. First of all, 아요, 어요, 해요 form has 3 options to choose from, while 비읍니다 and 씁니다 form has 2. 아요, 어요, 해요 form depends on the vowel, while 비읍니다, 씁니다 form depends on the final consonant. If the last letter of the verb does not have the final consonant, you're going to use 비읍니다 instead of 씁니다. You can use the common sense in that 비읍 will be used as a final consonant, while the other one, 씁니다, starts with a full letter. For example, let's take a look at the verb 먹다. Once you drop the letter 다, just like the usual conjugation, 먹 is left as the verb stem. 먹 has a final consonant. Therefore, you don't need it anymore. So you're going to use 씁니다. 먹 plus 씁니다. 먹습니다. Let's take a look at another one. What is the original verb for to come in Korean? Good. It is 오다. After dropping 다, 오 is the verb stem. 오 does not have a final consonant. Therefore, we need to put 비읍니다. Because 비읍 will be used as a final consonant. It becomes 옵니다. A few more. What about the word to wake up in Korean? It is 일어나다. What is the verb stem? The verb stem is 일어나. Na does not have a final consonant. Therefore, 비읍니다 should be added to the verb stem. It is 일어납니다. What about 읽다? What does that mean? It is the original verb form for to read, right? The verb stem of it is 읽. It has a final consonant, so you have to add 씁니다 to 읽. It becomes 읽습니다. So once again, just recite this several times. 비읍니다, 씁니다 form. and know that it is used in a formal setting as an honorific form. So you can pay attention to how the endings are different. I will read 3 different forms. 읽습니다. 읽어요. 읽어. 일어납니다. 일어나요. 일어나. 옵니다. 와요. 와. 갑니다. 가요. 가. 잡니다. 자요. 자. So please try to be aware of the verb at the end of the sentence as you hear it in Korean. It will greatly improve your hearing. Remember the different endings, 아요, 어요, 해요 form and 비읍니다, 씁니다 form. 다음에 봐요.